Hey everyone, we are almost done with this game. We're almost ready to put it to the test and make sure that it's fully working. So now we have to go and create our last function, which is going to be our conclusion function. Now this will basically redraw our screen and update our day counter, as well as updating our message, and as well as checking to see if we fully survived and we didn't fully survive. So let's go ahead and make that function. So we're going to exit out of the function called explode, and we're going to create a function under it. So function. And we're going to call this one conclusion. Conclusion. We are going to have no parameters, so blank parentheses. And now we're going to add our curly braces so we can write the code for the function. Now the function conclusion, as you guys saw in the previous lesson, we had that animation that kept running around. So what we want to do, we want to call that reset function so we can go back to normal. So we're going to call that reset function by writing reset and by adding the parameters, which we had none, and then adding a semicolon. Now we've told the function to go ahead and reset its picture so that we're back to all flat pumpkins. Now we want to go ahead and make an if statement. So we want to go back and check if the hiding place does not match the explosion location, and if it did match the explosion location. So if, in the test Boolean condition, we're going to write hiding place did not equal explosion location. Now what are we going to do? Well, we want to change the message over here. So message.innerHTML, just to make sure. We're going to write this again. So message.innerHTML, since we're going to another function, we just want to be sure the message is going to stay the same. And then what do we want to do? We want to change the day counter. So if you can remember at the beginning, we created a variable to track the day that we're on. As you can see, we had a variable day counter started at 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say day counter will equal day counter plus 1. That's because if the hiding place did not equal the explosion location, that means you live to see another day. That means we can go and move on to day number 2. So day counter plus 1. And then we're going to go ahead and draw the screen. So if you remember, we had a function over here that drew the screen. This will allow us to reset our inner HTML and reset the pictures, as well as reset the message.innerHTML. So we're going to have it draw the screen based on whatever it gets from here. And we're going to call the function drawScreen by saying draw and then screen, making sure I typed this correctly. So let's see if this is the right syntax. So draw uppercase screen. Yep, looks good. Alright, let's go ahead and add that semicolon, and then we're going to add an else statement. So else, now this is, for example, if the user did die on that. So we're going to use else followed by curly brace and give ourselves some space. We're going to change the message.innerHTML to you have died. So we can just go ahead and copy this right here into our else statement. Now what do we want to do? We want to alert them something. So we're going to give them alert. So alert. And what do we want to alert them? Well, we want to alert them how many days they survive for. So we're going to write in quotation marks, you have survived for, and now we want to add the variable value. So we're going to keep this in quotation marks, and now we're going to get a plus symbol. So now we can add a value. Now after the for, we want to give our space so that the number of the value does not get tangled up with the for word. So plus, and now we want to write day counter. So day counter plus, and now we want to add the word days, followed by a closing quotation mark, followed by a semicolon. So now this will alert us that you have survived for blank number of days. Alright, now one more thing, we had our day counter start at 1 over here. Now if you failed on the first day, that means you didn't survive for 1 day, which would be printed out here. So in our else statement, we're going to go ahead and change our day counter value. So we're going to say day counter equals day counter minus 1. That way if we die on the first day, that means we survived for no days. Alright, now after we give this alert, we're going to reset our day counter. So day counter will go ahead and equal 1. That way when we die, it's going to reset back to day 1. And then lastly, we want to draw the screen. So draw screen, and we're going to call that function, add a semicolon, and that is the end of our game. Congratulations, we have went through and we have created our full-fledged game, and it's going to be pretty addicting and pretty fun. So let's go ahead and look at what we've created. So let's go ahead and run this. Now we have day 1, where will you hide? And let's go ahead and pick a pumpkin. Our animations are working, good luck. Now you live to see another day, and as you can see, the day 2 automatically showed up. Now it's going to ask us where will you hide, so we can just keep going on and playing this game until we have died. So now it's going to randomly explode, and you can just play this all day, all night. You can go ahead and show your friends about this in your resume portfolio. This is actually a really technical program, and it's going to be very impressive for you to show people that you've actually created this. So thank you guys for watching. You've made it throughout the entire course. Go ahead and watch the next video where I tell you how to make money off freelancing just like I've done. So until then, see you guys in the next one.